El Donte. Masters. Flex Tank. El Donte. Exterminators de Demonos. Actually, let me roll that back a little bit. I actually did want to look at the team comp. There you go. Okay, so you are running Atypical Dive outside of Ana instead of Mercy, which this season is perfectly fine, and you are running a Doomfist instead of the Genji. Doomfist has a bit of a rough time on first point without the aid of the special bus jump that's coming up, but most people don't know about that tech. As Diva, your job is a little bit of everything. That's why Flex Tank is one of my favorite roles in the game, because you are a jack of all trades, and you could potentially carry any game that you're in, but, you know, not every game is winnable. Wait a minute. Hold up. Is that what I... What is this? Hold up. Yeah, that's not me. That's you. Hold on. Activate Windows. Just wanted to point that out. Let me open up my other tabs real quick, because I closed everything on accident. Oh, come on. I haven't set the... There you go. There you go. Okay. I want this up. There we go. Alright, cool. Let's get back to it. Toward your turret. Turret. You're waiting on the Winston to take a point.
Go, don't
Torbjorn's building another turret. You get the harm.
let him build it.
Okay, don't let him build it. You follow up on Winston. Okay. Fly in, fly out. Did your Winston also die there? I'm assuming yes. I didn't quite check that. Yeah. So that dive went kind of sideways. They were playing characters in positions that you don't expect. I'd say the first fight is when you get a bearing on what they're actually running, and sometimes their composition is just going to blow up yours if you don't immediately have an idea of like what you're up against. Like, if the dive targets are obvious, it's super easy to get it right on the first try, but for dives, sometimes you just need like a second shot.
Going up left side.
And some hero swaps maybe.
I have the entire team back here.
Okay, you have your Diva mech. Back in. Your Winston's already on point. He's contesting. Okay, you separate Hanzo. What could I have done differently there? Back in mech. Defense matrix, a little bit of the defense matrix, the turret, and the storm arrows. You block those, okay? So you separate him from the team. Ah, I know what you did wrong. Okay, so this is I'm gonna nitpick because that's what nitpickers do. So this is the doorway. Originally, Hanzo was in here, Diva was out here. Hanzo was shooting out, you go in to block the Hanzo's path, and then you immediately give way for him. You did this in your head because you wanted to prevent damage from the outside, but in doing so, you also let the Hanzo jump away with his air dash, because if you impeded yourself like a big obstacle in the doorway, you would have blocked him. It would have taken a little bit more thorough thought because the Hanzo would have to jump through that door, and you would still be able to shoot him. It would actually put him in the line of fire of your teammates. So it's a 50-50 on whether this was a good idea. He jumps out. Okay, Ana heals him up. Take high ground. You jump onto Zenyatta. Okay, you separated him from the fight. You take him out. That's a good pick.
Nice.
See, this is already leagues better than Rhaegar's performance on main tank. You're separating targets, you're working with your Winston and your Tracer, and you get first point. So let's talk for a little bit. What exactly constitutes a flex tank? Is it different from an off tank, or is it just a fancy word for players who can play any tank but main tanks? So flex tanks means that it is a flex player in the role of tank, meaning that you're meant to play the off tank for your team, which is usually the Diva, the Zarya, the Roadhog, that kind of character. But in certain metas or certain situations, you'll even flex off of tank so that you're running a solo tank. So basically, flex tank means that, hey, I play off tank, but sometimes I also play other roles. Nowadays, with goats running around, you're usually just going to have them be playing Diva. Like, generally speaking, it's a Diva main with sometimes a Zarya specialist. First point, you hang back on the payload, everyone else pushes up. Actually, who else is on it? Ana's with you. Okay. So Ana stays behind. You push up. I would have preferred to have Zen on it, but no team's perfect. Your team's getting picked. Where's your Winston in the situation? Did he get back spawn?
He was dancing around.
Okay, Winston jumps in. I heard him.
The Zen Tracer?
My bad, I couldn't get on him. He was dancing around the car.
Just poor. I'd chalk that up to poor engagements, because really you should be waiting for your main tank to go in. But trying to go for extra frags and playing greedy sometimes works in comp. Well, actually, it works a lot in comp, which is why you'll see it. Okay. This fight should be won. You got some really good picks. You should try and get away with using as few ultimates as possible.
Yeah, that was nice.
I can't really be mad at that Tracer pull spawn.
My coach literally told me I'm not a good Genji, so I have to push a hit skate. I hate this bullshit.
Well, doing good.
You suck. Kill yourself.
Wait a minute. Why not just grind Genji to get better?
No, because we already have a Genji player here.
Oh, okay.
What? Who woke him?
Just getting lost in the conversation.
No, because we already.
You should be, realistically speaking, you should be focusing on the next fight, but I can't get mad at you for. I kind of can. You should be focusing on giving a calm for the next fight, but then you'd be talking over these guys. So it's kind of, you kind of have to strike a balance.
We have a Genji player here.
Oh, okay.
Winston jumps in. Roadhog back here. You immediately go to break barrier. He's up in front of everybody.
Fucking Hanzo.
Did you need to do that? I don't think you need to do that.
Oh, okay.
Who woke him? We could have had this point.
600. You are full health. You had just captured the objective. Point 2. Your spawn has now been pushed forward. You have taken no damage. This bomb was pretty frivolous. And even if you do get a few frags off of it, you're not going to get much value out of it. Their spawn is unchanged back there, and it slowly creeps closer. That bomb is something you could have used in a team fight further up.
Fucking Hanzo above.
When was this uploaded? I'm just gonna go off of this and assume it was September 5th.
Where's the one in there? This is fucking Hanzo above. No. This is Hanzo above.
Okay. Good Diva bomb. Should be going for cleanup right now. It seems like you wait.
We're gone.
He's never gonna die.
Let's think about the thought process going into that.
Oh, thank God.
I would have pushed up, but you don't
Hey,
really
use
need
sleep
to.
already. Use sleep already.
Monkey asleep top left. And
You sleep left. Your Winston goes down. Okay. I guess it's only a misplay when it goes wrong. Huh? So
Hey,
what I was thinking
sleep
while
already.
this was happening
Sleep
was that you were standing in the back line with your You were standing in the back line essentially with your Zenyatta and your Ana. The Ana was on the cart, so you were standing in between them. Let me see if I can pull up a moment for that. I know how to use pen tools. It's great. Okay, so let's see. Zenyatta. Ana. You got Winston up here. This constitutes your front line. You're playing a backline healer in this situation. Or healer. Backline tank in this situation. You're playing bodyguard to them. Realistically speaking, who can actually jump onto them in this situation? Potentially Winston. Winston was asleep over here. He played backline bodyguard. Doomfist gets a frag. You hang back. You're still representing, like, there's like a rubber band that connects you between the two. You're thinking about
Monkey
that.
asleep top left.
Monkey sleep. Okay, that removes the potential for a dive. Your Winston and your Tracer both go down.
For Mega left side. Even left. Even left.
I'm gonna be swear, I don't play enough Diva to really be an expert. I don't know what you could have done to save your Ana there.
They got off brig and Zarya.
We only have one support.
Good jump. Go with the Winston. Save your Zenyatta. Good play. That was good. Let's see. Did you actually eat it? You did eat it. Okay, so solid play.
I have.
Okay. Push up. You wouldn't push up there.
Monkey on payload. Asleep.
Nice.
Anything else so bad?
Okay.
Right from using.
Asleep.
Anything else so bad? Right from
I don't know if you needed the ult there. Yeah, I think that was frivolous. It was another full HP ultimate that you just decided, hey, you know, I'll throw it out there. It seems like a good spot for that kind of thing. You could have used it later.
I got monkey on me.
Baby Viva?
No heals, team. We're down healer.
It's approaching. You guys are getting tons of picks on them.
Thank you, my man.
Gap closing. Winston. The Winston was lit. That's rough. Tracer tries to follow up. Okay, that would have been a time where that bomb would have came in handy.
Our tanks are down.
Yeah. Oh, what did I do? Essentially what you did was get blown up there, which would force the Pharah, which notoriously gets blown up by Diva bombs a lot, to get away. The Zarya, if they hadn't already used personal bubble, they would have to get away. You'd be able to route around the corner and remech, and then you'd be able to go right back into the fight because you used it earlier trying to get some excess frags to try and push it. You know, it was taking a gamble. The gamble didn't pan out. Ended up being a misplay. You know, it's only a misplay if you don't get any frags, right? But you're gambling, so
Our tanks are
sometimes it doesn't pan out. I got a sip drink of this. It tastes like shit.
Regret.
Water.
down. Alright, one. Just getting healed.
Calls. Okay.
Monkey top right.
Monkey top right. You separate him from the rest of the team. Easy pick. That was a bad move by the enemy Winston. Doomfist gets resurrected. You have to think about what's going into this next fight. You're about to get your ultimate. You're at 426. I would bomb here. There you go.
She's half right now.
Good pick. You get the Winston as he was coming out of spawn.
On this one?
Ah, yes, winnable. That's how you know. That's how you know you have confidence in the fight. Okay, you blocked that ultimate. Good job. Now, what target do you go for here? Do you go for the Valkyrie that's about to end? Actually, is it? Let me listen for the VFX. Okay, it just ended. So you have options here. It's like a choose your own adventure. You have a Doomfist that is slamming in on your Winston right here. You have an enemy Zarya getting pocketed by the Mercy. You have a Mercy who Valkyrie just ended. Or Spawn Doors. What do you go for? Doomfist. Okay. Doomfist gets focused down. It was a Discord. It was a good call. It was the right play. Basically, the answer to that question is whoever has Discord. So they're doing a really good job of target calling thanks to Saints. That's a good push.
Use the bubble.
Misplay.
Nice.
Well, it's not a misplay unless it works, I guess. Or it's a misplay until it's not a misplay until it stops working. That's what I meant. So C9 lol. No. He's just shit talking. That was a good push. Yeah, you have lots of time left on the clock. It was just very efficient use of everything outside of your ultimate, I'd say. Maybe your defense matrix, but I wasn't noticing anything very bad about it. That's a Rocket League joke, if you're wondering. This thing right here, I'm doing Rocket League jokes. Calculated.
I'm gonna dive, man. Just get ready for the peel, boys. You guys are great at peeling, so shouldn't have problem.
It's got about 52 seconds. Let's see. Would you consider the LFG tool worthwhile in low diamond? It depends. Like everything.
Too much verticality. There's too much verticality for you to be effective, especially with this comp.
It's okay. That one guy released a 45-minute Moira guide, and he probably watched it.
but
So as for, I'm gonna mute this so I don't.
reason with
I'm gonna pause it because I might say something useful. So the thing about LFG tool while in low diamond, there's the people for it. Your results will vary greatly depending on what role you're queuing for. If you queue for DPS, Godspeed. You're not gonna find a game. Because they'll all be full because the host is usually the DPS player. As for queuing with other roles, seems fine. I'd recommend against role locking if you're deciding the host, and if you're joining up with other lobbies, you're gonna end up with a lot of hosts that decide, hey, if your career profile isn't visible, I'm going to kick you. And I mean, that's kind of uncool, but it's understandable, so I'm torn on it. But really the thing is, when you join an LFG, people aren't in it to make friends, they're in it to win. So you'll find that a lot of groups disband after one game, or even in the middle of the first game, if it is not going exactly how they expect it to. And all I have to say is your results will vary, and it kind of breaks down once you reach high masters, because there isn't enough people using it to justify it. I'm sure in any rank below, it actually gets a lot more use. But you'll also be going up against the natural 6 stacks, which you'll be finding a lot more of now that the LFG tool has been finding, less and less use. It's a trade-off. If you have people skills and you can sort the wheat from the chaff, totally do it.
with me
I solo queue
You're on
because
the
I don't
low
have enough
ground
time to
for some
put up
reason.
with people.
and that team's on the high
I'm
ground.
bad
I'm a
about
good
it.
player.
This gamer.
My ranked habits are a bit of a
Don't
bit of a
lose your
dichotomy
food.
between what I actually want, what I actually do. It's like I'm a bad role model in game, but outside of game I can give a lot better advice because I just dink around and have fun.
Fat heals though, and I can.
I just dink
shift
around and have
away.
fun. There's fun in being competitive. It's just that I don't have enough situations to do that.
Get out of here, you
All right, you start high ground, similar composition. You're running the
Winston
soldier
crouching, like,
instead
so
of
fucking
the
funny, dude.
tracer. Still running the Doomfist. Bit of a suspect pick here, but whatever.
Alright, they have dive.
hero, dude.
Oh, I'm asleep.
They call dive. Your Zenyatta sleeps.
Missed the anti. Big.
Your Winston jumps.
Good
Their Winston
dive.
jumps in. Real shit. Genji
Oh, Sombra
is-
here.
Nice, nice,
Oh.
nice.
Sombra
It's like a
behind us
Jean-Claude
right
Van Damme film. They're just climbing onto you guys one at a time. Those are very inefficient dives.
She's on the mega underneath on the right. That's where she TP'd to.
A very specific call out from Saint. I'm digging it.
now. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
try
yeah.
strong
Oh
game,
my
man.
god, I should have fucking.
Can I say I love specific call outs that use an effective, I'm going to call it syllable economy. Hear me out. Effective call outs that give the enemy position, their health, the name of the enemy, and maybe another detail in like 3 to 4 words, or even well, kind of by syllables, is fucking amazing. Like, call the location, or sorry, hero, location, status, and the status can cover cooldowns or health. So, for example, we'll call it Genji tunnel, no deflect. 4 words. Everything you need to know about it.
Shot.
So would it be better off to find LFG discords and people to duo with? I like duo queuing. If you're nice to people, I would duo
She
queue.
was there.
It basically comes
Okay.
down to what you want out of your competitive experience. If you want to be
coming
nice
to
to
bottom.
people and have friends, then duo queue and use LFG. If you want to sit in solitary silence, then you're gonna have a hard time climbing out of diamond because you need to play by your team.
Just Kaiten out
It's up to you, man.
here.
Do what you want.
I'm back.
Genji's actually.
Let me look at that again. Was there
I'm
something
back.
you could have done there? Nah, they just jumped on your Winston. If he had ultimate,
Genji's actually.
he just got super focused now. The best thing I could have done would be use your defense matrix, but even then, once you blow that resource, the Winston might have died anyway.
Watch out.
Charge ball. They have enough unblockable damage to make that difference.
Can we get the Ana?
You go to mech. They're calling the target.
Been a problem.
The Ana is up there. Can you knock him off? Yeah, you knock
He's
him
in
off.
that
Nice.
You got her.
ground. I'm getting.
That's not me.
Monkey on our
That's him in game.
soldier.
I have
Soldier,
those
help me.
muted.
Soldier, help me.
I haven't commented on this yet.
I'm getting. Monkey on our.
I haven't commented on this yet. Let me see if I can adjust the speed. Third tries the charm. Okay, a little bit faster. I'm not insane. Okay, that's an approximation of your tracking pattern right now. I know it's Lucio, and you know you're jerking your aim all over the place. But I actually kind of want to see what your EDPI is after this. I want to see what that is. Basically, you just need the DPI to be low enough to where you can smooth out your aim, or it really fits your style and comfort. What I run a very low sensitivity by comparison. I was on 2400 EDPI pretty recently. I went up to 3K with 3.5 and 800. Basically because 2400 was just low enough to where my hand would start to hurt when I was playing, because it was just so darn low that the flicks I were making were just too violent for my liking. From what I see from you, either you have a very wide range of motion with your mouse and you're just able to like swing it around like crazy, or it's just too high and you might actually be better off with a lower sensitivity. We could set it to regular now. Sorry. I know how to use video players.
That feeling Lucio boots you into the kill.
Lucio kill. Sure.
Like when you get booped, that's a Rhine charge.
Yeah.
Fucking pin somebody.
You're gonna have
I'm not Lucio usually.
Sombra's back, right?
The guy who gets killed.
Soldier gets jumped on. You make yourself an obstacle with your Winston. Diva bomb goes out. You dodge. Winston ulties. Do you chase it down? You do.
Where's that one? Oh.
Okay, you have your bomb available to you right now. That could change the fight. You lost 2. Let's see. They lost 2. It's pretty good right now.
Sombra?
There's no heals right now.
You're at 120, 32. You decide to bomb early.
I have 1 HP.
Okay. It saves yourself.
There's only BB debugging a point.
I got this.
You separate the Genji. He deflects. You force it out of him. You actually zone him out pretty effectively.
I'm not like you guys.
That's ally ultimate.
Have a Moira now?
Is that in the Moira guide?
Okay, knock it
Do
out.
they cap
She's
this?
gonna-
They don't cap this, do they? They might. Yeah, they might actually cap it from here.
I didn't get that.
Oh fuck.
Shield,
I didn't get that.
focus,
Monkey top
tracers
left.
on you. They all just get on it at once. You get double hacked. There's not much you can do. You get stuck in the corner.
No heals.
Oh!
Oh, no, it's no. That was
I'm
good.
just
Unlucky.
boys.
Unlucky.
I'm just gonna go something else entirely.
Maybe
I think
Bridget.
his kit doesn't get shut down.
So I asked people to send in videos where they lost and they don't know why they lost. I'm trying to think about what you could have done differently to save that fight. But from the looks of it, that particular fight was just they had all the ultimates to burn.
Okay, knock it out.
You push them up. You push them up. You kept the diva back in mech. You made the right play there. You back up, spawn, because they're gonna have fast characters. They're gonna run straight for the point. Wait, what? Lucio ult. You get poked from multiple sides.
Oh fuck.
It's 2 ultimates. There's another hack, so you've been double hacked at this point. You're getting focused down.
No heals.
And an unlucky bomb.
What the fuck?
There was really not much you could have done.
That was
I'm
good
just
hold.
switching, boys.
What bothers me about that play was that when he was going to be demacked, he should have gone up for the bomb. That's a good point. But I don't... Actually, did the bomb even go off? Yeah, it did. It just...
No heals.
What
He was
the
going
fuck?
demacked. Was he flying?
Bubble.
He is hacked again.
Got the Lucio.
I'm looking at this over and over again. You fly. You had about second and a half of flight left. You did not angle it up.
Oh, no,
So that's
it's
basically it. Wouldn't have saved the game though. Yeah, that's a good nitpick to call out. So the biggest thing I'm seeing right now is just your ultimate usage. Like Diva's ultimate is one of the most impactful in the game if used properly.
What a save.
But they burned a lot of ultimates there in tandem. So
Wangsting, he's on our old spawn.
keep that.
We can take the other fight. Oh no, somebody's coming down. And they got that spawn.
Let's go. We're here.
Let's go. Another diva.
You fall in. Okay, you hang back. You're bodyguarding. All right, now you're pushing in. Pushing in now that there's a couple picks advantage.
I'm here. You went away from me.
Oh, that's
Fucking Doomfist slew at you.
Healing.
You guys are getting enough bad kills right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you get your ultimate in time? Let's see.
The highest healing output you can do.
Is that gonna hit you? That does hit you.
You guys are getting enough bad kills right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
The highest healing output you can do.
Yeah, I'd chalk that up to game sense more than positioning.
Oh, I hit the Sombra.
It's just
What the fuck?
She's so
sometimes the bomb is just too good, and sometimes you don't have the right cooldown available to you.
So you threw the bubble down and you're outside of it. Fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's dead. That's gonna. That might act.
Sombra high ground in the room.
He would. That's not the right spot to be teabagging.
She has EMP.
I could touch.
We can do nano visor. It's not worth it. Nano visor next fight.
Soldier pick isn't working here.
Winston's in the right room.
Like even post even post buff on the PTR, I wouldn't even be running soldier that often. As a matter of fact, I'd probably be running McCree if we're still sticking with a hit scan. But even then, you'd be better off with something else. There's another whiffed ultimate. Was it just too high of an airburst? Let's see. Yeah. You heard the hit sound. It hit something. It's just too far away from these targets. And this target, I believe, is indoors. The soldier should have swapped after the last first point. Yeah. That's the thing, though. You can't really control what your teammates play in ranks. You can on a team, but even then, it's just...
Force the monkey ult.
You gotta work with what you got. Sometimes someone can't play a specific hero.
You ready for nano?
They would be definitely getting some more value out of their team composition if they had some kind of crowd control outside of
Yeah, we're about to break.
pushes and the stun from Ana. So your Winston goes really fucking deep because he is ultimate here. Real fucking deep. If there was a rubber band between you and that Winston right now, you'd be serving as the backline. So whenever he's in danger, he jumps back to you. You have that in mind when you're making these decisions. You have boost in 2 seconds. Your Ana goes down. That's your main heal. You're about to take a ton of damage. There it is.
No. Just stay alive.
If you had your ultimate there, you would have been thinking how to use that differently.
My nano
You would
and
have pulled
monkey
back
survivability.
and shot it up for an air burst because they were all pushing forward and it just lost Lucio's shield. Basically, everything else I've been saying other than your ultimate usage has been like peanuts by comparison to just how important it is to use your ultimate well. Because you've wasted like 3 out of the 5 or 6 that you use.
We can win this. Take out their monkey. They didn't want aggro. They didn't want monkey first.
Okay, you have your ultimate again. How much health did you happen to
We
use?
gotta get their healers.
They didn't want aggro. They didn't want monkey first.
Okay, you just did 600 damage to yourself. And 200 of that was armor. Especially in an overtime hold. Well, technically a last fight hold, or second to last if they move super freaking fast. But if this fight goes on for another 10 seconds, this is going to be effectively last fight. You decide to, hey, risk it all. I'm going to blow 600 of my own health, because that's what it serves as, technically, to try and get a big airburst bomb and just take it out early. And even if you took them out right this second and killed them, they would have a 10-second respawn and then 30 seconds to get their shit together. If you killed them that fast, they would be back onto the point before overtime. And you would have another fight, this time without your ultimate. So it was like a compounding mistake, on top of the fact that it was a wasted bomb. Okay, you push back to Lucio, get the support out of there for sure. You get focused down for it because you're the only one on there. Everyone else dies. You aren't able to get onto the point again. You have one, but it's not going to be enough. You not lose. Sorry, both teams capped this.
Yeah, you're Ana.
It's going to be round 3 though. I think the soldiers should swap them. I mean,
You're right.
it's a tough call. We don't see what the
soldier
soldier's doing. By all means, he's doing. No, he's blending into the background, which just means that he's not.
I played a really smooth offense, so.
Yeah. The offense is much better than defense.
Let's just hold him here.
Offense, you don't get punished as much for bad diva bombs. because there's some situations
They only have,
where
like, 3
you can
good
get away with
points.
using a bad one.
So they'll have EMP at the end.
Not to encourage it,
Save
but on
all
defense,
those
it gets punished so much more.
No, what? It's gonna get closed out by EMP. The same thing that happened last time. Unless we're willing to dodge EMP.
Well,
Even though it's gonna be
EMP
difficult.
isn't really something you can dodge. That's
She's
the
just
the
gonna
thing
leave
with
you
Doomfist
alone.
is that if he's getting focused down by the Sombra, there's just nothing he can do. He gets bullied to shit. And okay, you get the McCree now. Basically, 3 of your characters on your team just die if they are hacked. Straight up. And specifically those with ability-based movement, which is most of them. I mean, even Winston will just straight up
Live through
die.
EMP, I mean.
Sombra has so much room to work with this kind of composition. Winston plays on his own. Tracer goes around the
Tracer's
back.
Upstairs, up with you guys.
More high. Okay, Winston's getting jumped on right now. He's engaging on his own. You're serving as the rubber band for your team that's
Tracer's coming through.
serving the gap. He basically stood on his own and died for it. Regardless of the amount of healing, the Winston bubble protected him. Well, protected him being that he didn't get any healing from it. Speaking of which, the Moira pick is also a bit wonky here. Okay, you're brawling. You get focused. You go for the Winston. You take out the Winston. So you get 2 on your own. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Your Winston switches the Wrecking Ball. Get that little bit of extra mobility. Are you able to contest? Was a bug.
Our ball's on.
Alright, they contest. Overtime. Is this Korean? Did you say it's Korean? Because you go hard.
Tracer's low.
Okay, Brigida's on point. Super scary.
Tracer's down.
Okay, air burst. Nothing.
C9.
Oh my god.
You won this. I want to actually see where the enemies were. One more time.
Our ball's on.
Because this is another wasted ultimate. Actually, that's the thing. I don't know if it was a wasted ultimate. Let's see. Diva, Winston, Brigida,
Tracer's low.
the Tracer. The Diva goes down. The Tracer goes down.
Tracer's dead.
The Moira is down there. So, in your defense, zoning ult. It could have kept them from getting on point. It scared them off, works in certain situations. Given the circumstance where they call you on your bluff and they keep someone on the point, you'd still be fighting this. There's ways to dodge it. If I recall correctly, I see the Brigida hop on point right after. If I were you, you see the Moira down on Main Street using her ultimate. Her ultimate makes her more vulnerable. If you know the Diva Bomb arc, you can fire it so that it lands in direct line of sight of the doorway to take her out. That's an option select. Did this work? Yes. Was it a misplay?
Letter number.
Hard to say. Yeah, you're doing pretty good outside of that. You're managing your defense matrix really well. Your boosts could be better, but you're getting handed some shit hands sometimes. It's hard to call. All right, let's watch some of Surefour's gameplay. Okay, he has the confidence to be able to. Well, okay, he has the confidence in order to decloak right in front of Lucio. He has a better grasp of the situation to where he knows if he hacks them, he can get up in the Lucio's face before he can get to the health pack. Plus, he basically has an aimbot inside of his brain of his, so he can kill shit just faster than everyone else. They removed that bug. I'm kind of sad about that. Oh,
What rank are you in, Rock?
what the oh.
Me?
The finger
I
guns
haven't played
puts them
that
through the
game.
spawn
I
door.
have it. I really enjoy it, but
Also, I see you have your graphics settings set to PS2. Yeah.
Playing some Rocket League right now.
yo, why would you talk about Rocket League when you could play Lucio Ball?
Yeah, the better Rocket League.
Yeah, 100% the better Rocket League.
Why would you play Overwatch? You just
All right,
fight
full
yourself.
health. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. That's enough time to get ultimates. 99%, you basically have to cap the point in its entirety. Mercury's salty about Doomfist, whatever, you get picked.
The Hanzo boys.
Well, you go
They have a Torbjorn.
Torbjorn, Orisa on
Can't
point. You immediately dive on it. Roadhog again.
What the fuck?
That's a lot of spam damage.
The Torp's dead and the turret's low. Diva, you need to get in there.
Yeah, Diva, you're the answer for this.
You have to be in that corner. We should have.
I'm gonna deconstruct that team fight real quick because I feel like this is one of the reasons why he submitted it to me. His teammates are yelling at him, "Hey, Diva, you should have done the thing. You should have done all the things. Why aren't you doing the thing?" It's like, okay, you block damage, you boost in. The Winston immediately takes cover because he sees the Roadhog that way, and he's like, "Oh fuck, a duck! I don't want to deal with this nonsense." So the Torbjorn is standing there like a mean Chad motherfucker with the akimbo legs and his big mean arm posture. Look at that action pose. He's gonna kick your ass. There's a Rissa right here with the turret, big ass gun, horse legs, and there's a turret here. Why not? That's a turret. That's a turret. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 mean motherfuckers and 5 mean motherfuckers all shooting at the Winston here. He immediately gets half health, and it's your fault because you didn't block all that damage. You blew all your defense matrix going in, protecting him. He still takes half damage because there's just so much shit flying at him.
What the fuck?
The Torp's dead and the turret's low. Diva, you need to get in there.
So realistically, you have been given a horse to eat by that enemy team. You have been given many different things that need to be unpacked one by one. You have potentially a pre-nerf Hanzo on the high ground. You have a Winston that jumps square into the enemy team. You have turrets all over the place. What could you have done differently? The first play that popped into your mind was follow up the Winston, go in, help him out because he's going to need defense matrix. The play that you could see in retrospect that might still not have worked because of the Roadhog hook, you didn't see immediately because he was hanging out of line of sight, would be the jump on instead the Hanzo to single him out. But there's also the Brigida up there defending him. A mini tank essentially. So you're given. It's a rough situation to where you needed to coordinate with your Winston, and the Winston didn't. He needed to not underestimate what they were running, because there's all this fucking bullshit right here that you need to unpack very carefully, because you need to jump on this and separate them and push them into this doorway, and then you need to fight the Brigida and the Hanzo in there. Take them out and you can go from there, because this is by far this right here is the by far the most vulnerable part of their team, because you can push them in there, and once they're inside this doorway you can take them out. This jump is a death sentence for your Winston. This is a bad engage by him. You get the Roadhog on you.
What the fuck?
It's 50-50 on whether or not you would have still gotten hooked even if you took high ground. But I know that once you're through that doorway, you're in the clear for a good engage and up to 2 picks.
Diva, you need to get in there.
Yeah, no, they're just shit talking you because the Winston had a bad engage.
You have to be in that corner. We should have won.
And also, he pushed up further than you could have. You went the maximum distance for your boost, and then he complained that you didn't go far enough. I'm a bad main tank. I know what it looks like when the main tank should not be complaining, because I'm a petulant main tank. He's being petulant right now.
Okay, going under.
Hold on. Alright.
Mercury's just shit talking Doofus so far. Okay. So Winston is there. You see the high ground. It doesn't look like the Brigade is still up there. What the heck? The Brigade is up there. Okay. Sorry. Let's try this. I want to get a good view of the fight so I can show you what's up. Doomfist. Okay. Doomfist is routing around high ground. The Hanzo jumps down. The Breed is still up there. They're going to full engage on this Winston that just got nano boosted. I'm going on the assumption he just took 400 damage and needed the nano boost to live. Their entire team is shooting at your Winston right now. This is not how Winston plays. Winston is going to have a very tough time going up against this, especially since the Brigitte and Hanzo are still doing their thing. You go in and you block as much damage physically possible because the Torbjorn just activated his Molten Core. You're blocking tons and tons of damage. And it's still active. And you get thrown into the dragon, you just take tons and tons of chip damage. Is that right? Okay, that's rough.
Why don't we just get like a run and like just go on the other
Doomfist, I cannot imagine being Doomfist in this situation. There are no good targets on that enemy team you can go after. You don't even go after the Torbjorn because you can't one-shot him. The Moira can fade away. The Hanzo just does too much damage to you, and the Brigitte will stun the fuck out of you. There's no good targets to dive on as Doomfist alone. You would need to work with your team, but the Winston you're working with is just diving headlong into a turret and expecting that to work.
Okay.
You blew all your defense matrix just trying to save him, and he still takes too much damage.
I'm going now.
You're going to have your ultimate for this fight. This could turn the game. You know they just burned that. Okay, so you immediately take out the ultimate and the bomb. Okay, you need to blow that shield. Didn't. That's tough.
Break low, break low, break low. Hey,
Get him, get him. Immediately goes to build another turret. This is just cleanup at this point.
Nice. It's the guy's
You get this? Okay, you get this.
GG.
That was a good game. So, if you want any bit of advice,
Look how hard their comp counters Doom.
your Doomfist got fucked up. I don't know why he's bragging. He got royally fucked up, and he had to solve Tetris puzzles. Not even Tetris. He was playing Jenga underwater. Like, that's how difficult it was for him. He was playing Jenga underwater. Just, I would not want to be the Doomfist on your team. Secondly, the common theme throughout this gameplay was that you were using your ultimates very poorly. That's something that's very common amongst even Masters and GM Diva players. Like, your mechanics are all right. You know, you're using auto shotguns. If you're up close, you're going to be hitting shit. I would recommend lowering your sensitivity. I don't know what it's currently at. I'll ask you later. Other than that, you did pretty darn good being the rubber band for your team, sitting in the back line, going to the front, high ground, etc. Could there have been better plays? Sure. Did I notice them all? No. I'm not the perfect Diva player. I think that Doom was trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in liquid nitrogen barehanded. I agree. Like, I would not want to be Doom, and switching to Pharah was a good play there, as far as I know. Realistically, though, like, there's a few things you can improve, and that's generally all there is to it.
4 fucking Doom counters.
Yeah, I would not be bragging about that. How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for about an hour 24. You know what? I think we're making great time. Got some sportsmanship. My boy Playboy about to get picked around that corner. And you were cleaning house. So yeah, you nice edit there. So we are going to take a quick break. Shit. Did I make a quick break icon? Do I have to make that right now? They have all these Doom counters that you stay on Doom. Yeah, Doomfist is really the only character in the game that has, like, hard, fast counters. So, like, getting countered as Doom is not something to be proud of. It's like other characters, if they switch to a counter for you, it's not really gonna, like, ruin your day completely. Like, there's certain characters that Doomfist cannot reach. Like, if you're playing Pharah against Hanzo, sure, you counter him, but the Hanzo still can blow your ass up out of the sky. If you're playing Pharah against Doomfist outside of, like, Brandito wasting his ultimate, you will lose most of your fights, and you need to avoid them. It's like, that's not something to brag about when you're playing Doomfist. I feel like you were handed a really tough match, and you made the best of it, Dante. Outside of using your ultimate more effectively, it's just little things, and that really is all there is to it. It's just really little things, and you got to nitpick your own gameplay as hard as you can. So I'm gonna take a